this is your can, the Yosh can. Man, I've been racking my brain to think of a way to make this cup, but I come up with nothing. Maybe I need a vacation. Then it hit me like a bolt of lightning to make me really feel how small I am in this world. So why don't we take a vacation together? I think the Star Cup has all of the best locales. First is the trip to the airport. Then a deep sea dive with some dolphins. Then we get our boogie on at a nightclub, guys. Last but not least, we take a ski trip down a mountain to the lodge. Okay, with all that said, let's start off. First things first, we have to make sure you're able to do the shortcuts on these tracks. So if you have smart steering on, you will not be able to do most of these shortcuts. To turn smart steering off is simple. While selecting your vehicle, press the +/- button to bring up your stats. Then press the L button or its equivalent to turn off this setting. And don't worry, you can turn off this setting while racing by pausing the game and pressing the L button or its equivalent. But be careful, if you're holding an item and press the button again while in the pause menu, you will turn on smart steering. Make sure you do not have that antenna on. I'm just giving you a few tips to be mindful because this has happened to me on several occasions and I quite frankly don't like smart steering. Okay, we have a total of 4 tracks to run through. Sunshine Airport, Dolphin Shoals, Electrodrome, and Mount Wadio. Let's get our vacation on. Long lines, security check-in, and luggage check-in are a thing of the past in Sunshine Airport. Due to the fact of I haven't seen any security at all here, which makes it weird for me since I'm here in the States and I need to be an hour or two early to make a flight, but I digress. At this airport, there are 2 shortcuts to be found. Before our flight takes off, let's go over these shortcuts, shall we? Okay, the very first shortcut is right after you go in or around the second airplane. Off in the water, there's a ramp you can take if you have the right item. The very next and last shortcut is right after the runway section. Circling around, coming down to the helipad, there is a section of grass off to the left that if you have the right item, you can use it to go to the conveyor belt right to the finish line. You know what? The theme of this cup is newness. This track is the very first to be an airport in the Mario Kart series. On top of that, if you look at the destinations, there are other tracks in the game. Well, we got a flight to catch, so why not kick it into high gear in 200cc? While you can skip one of these shortcuts on this track, it's not very practical unless you get the timing right. You have to jump off the grass onto the grassy ramp, which is the very first shortcut I've showed. But come to think of it, I haven't really used any of these shortcuts. The only reason I'm using them now is to show them off, but other than that, I don't use any shortcuts on this track. It doesn't really save too much time for me, and this track is really fun to drift around. That's just me. Speaking about drifting, this track is specialized for bikes. Even though there are a total of 3 straightaways, 2 of which are for taking off and landing. So, all in all, those straightaways don't serve too much of a purpose when it comes to karts. Well, after that flight, I really want to take a dip into the sea. Good thing there's a beach close by to here. Get your swimsuits ready, guys, because we're off to the beach. Where to begin with this stage? Well, let's start at the beginning since that's where you typically start. When the game was first released, I mean back in 2014 and not 2017, this track was what I believed had the worst flow imaginable from any course in the game. Driving on this track feels like you're floating the entire time through it. Yes, this track is the most unique feeling of all the other tracks in the game, but that's because this track is 80% underwater. Most of the time in the game, you're underwater is for a brief period of time, so you really don't get the full feel of being underwater. In this track, you truly feel how it plays. And before I get into why this track gave me such a hard time, let's go over a few things, a few tips and tricks I had for this track. First off, always stay in the inside. Not the middle, not the edge, the inside. I don't know if it's me or if it's something else, guys, but I felt like I was always an item magnet on this stage. I get hit once and then I constantly get hit, and then before I know it, I'm in 12th place. So stay in the inside. The items feel floaty on this stage too. It feels like they move faster than the racers, honestly. But just be careful, because that can honestly be your downfall. You can be doing so well at the end of the course, but just get pelted by items. I don't get that feeling that much in Mario Kart 8 when it's other courses, but this course truly shows me how that can be a thing. The second tip is, during the path where there's a multiple paths in the course, pretty much towards the middle, once you go deep down into the water before the eel section, there's a blue pipe. What I like to do is use the blue pipe, do a trick boost off of it to the left, and go into that lower platform where the green pipe would lead you. Now here goes a bonus that you get for it. First off, I feel that's the fastest way, because going up there feels a bit slower. And two, if there's a red shell following you, the red shell will take the blue pipe path and then crash into the wall because it thinks it's right next to you. That's a nice way to actually dodge the red shell, which I found a while ago. And I believe I found this myself before any videos was posted, but since I didn't post a video back then, well, inability to do that, it really didn't help a lot. Now, towards the end of the shortcut, a very self-explanatory shortcut is at the last stretch. You turn after the gliding section, and there's an S-turn right there. Now, this S-turn is normally pretty hard. I remember getting my butt kicked when I was on this stage with this S-turn. But if you have a mushroom, you can just go straight through it into the finish line. Let's swim like a dolphin at Mach speed. 200cc gets rid of that one shortcut just by flying over it entirely. Don't believe me? As long as you follow my instructions, you'll be just fine, and we'll actually fly right over that shortcut. When you start gliding, pull up and slightly to the left, which means in flying controls, down on the control stick and slightly to the left on your controller. And if you do that, you'll fly straight over the shortcut. Since this course is a water course, karts are preferred. Karts move faster underwater, regardless of the thing. Even if you're turning, it feels like karts move faster. So that is the preferred vehicle of this course. Personally, my opinion, I like to use bikes because, again, I'm an item magnet on this stage. And being in a smaller vehicle really helps out, for me at least. Now it's time for some Yoshkin trivia. This course is one of the reasons why I won Yumicon 2015 Mario Kart Tournament. This was the very first course on the finals. And back then in 2014, not 15, yeah, it was 2014, my mistake, I was typing too fast. I thought I sucked at this stage. But boy, was I wrong, man. I got first place. You wanna know what all the other competitors got? We were playing with hard computers, normal items, and all the other stuff. They got 5th, 7th, and 9th. So, while I don't really care for this stage that much and I don't have the strongest bond, I'll always remember this one thing. That somebody's worse at this stage than I am, and then I can smile on. So, if you see my name, Yoshkin, in the lobby, anybody, please don't pick this course. I'm not very good. I'm like half serious. I'd rather not play on this stage. I like to get better at it. I think I'm decent at this stage now. But with all the doubt, I need to warm up, get dry, because we're heading to the nightclub. And I'll see you guys when we get there. This track. This track is hands down my favorite track in the game. Why? I don't know. But this track always brings a smile to my face. Maybe it's the fact that usually I love tracks with heavy drifting, or the fact that I usually win this track at the end with a mushroom. And I'm not lying about that part, and people can vouch for me on that. Even when I don't have a mushroom, I win with a mushroom. But, like all the other tracks in this course, this track has to be first in something, right? So, what is it? First to be a nightclub? Well, that is a bit too easy. So, I actually found this one. This is the first track in Mario Kart history to have a single word for its name. Yeah, I'm not joking. It took 8 main installments to have a track with a single name. And what I find funny is I used to actually be a COD player, and I play probably a little bit now, mostly a secondary mode that's blown up within the past few years. But most of the multiplayer stages in COD have single word stage names. If you don't believe me, go look it up, like Grind, Crash, Terminal, Nuketown. Even though Nuketown sounds like it's a 2-word name, it's actually a 1-word name. But this track only has one shortcut to speak of, and it happens to be at the very end. There are pipes to your left when you're turning, doing the U-turn that is, and if you have a mushroom, you can cross the gap. Be wary of the pipes though, because if you actually go straight in the middle of the pipe, you will lose all your speed, and you effectively wasted the shortcut. It has happened to me during this recording, and I'll show you this right now. But there is one tip I like to leave you with this course. That pink is better than green. And what I mean by this is the pink path is the faster one of the two. Even Peach is better than Luigi in Nintendo's eyes. Well, my eyes might be playing tricks on me, but I think I'm seeing 200cc right now. And really nothing has changed too much for this track. Well, the straightaway actually gets shorter, but that's what all the other tracks in 200cc. Shortcuts don't become any harder. Really, the only thing I can say is recommendations now, kart or bike. I primarily would choose a bike, even though there's one super long straightaway. I would pick a bike due to the fact of how many turns and twists there are in this course. I'm more of a bike man if you guys haven't figured that out just yet. But I'm pretty sure we're all getting tired of dancing. Well, I might not be, but I'm pretty sure the rest of you guys are. But why don't we go cool down somewhere north? I think I know of a certain fat man that knows of a great place that we can find. And maybe he has a lodge too that we can go to. I see you guys there. Welcome to Mount Wario. Okay, enough of the echoing mountain effect. Mount Wario is the last stop for our trip, and right off the bat, which do you prefer, skis or snowboards? I haven't used either one of these, but if I were going to pick, it would be skis, because I have terrible balance, and I'd probably fall off of a snowboard. Like every other track in this cup, this one has been the first to do something that no other track in the series has done yet. That is a section course that has a different beginning and end, along with not being able to loop. In my words, a true section course. Back in Mario Kart 7, and one here in Mario Kart 8, instead of making those courses into section courses, they should have made them 2 laps like Mario Kart Coliseum and Mario Kart Double Dash. 2 laps feels like enough length and time for those courses. This course, on the other hand, doesn't have that problem, and it feels long enough to be a proper course and plays well. 5 shortcuts consist on this very mountain from top to bottom. We'll see where they are, and the first shortcut happens to be right after we get off the helicopter. Right after the first set of item boxes, there is a dip in the snow. Jump down and boost back up it for an easy shortcut. Now this next one's a bit tricky for newcomers. So there's a small ledge that you can do a trick off of to save time. It's at the very end of the first section. Now you can not do the timing well and fall off the course. You could also fall into that little canyon right there that's right underneath you. There's so many things that can go wrong if you haven't practiced this shortcut. But it is a phenomenal shortcut to do due to the fact that it saves a lot of time. Third shortcut already, huh? Well, this one you must do it right or you won't get as much of a reward as you should. Instead of taking the entire anti-grav section, at the first ramp you want to get off and go into the river. If you do it at the right position, then you'll get the most time out of it. And if you don't, you might run into one of those rocks in the river. I've done this wrong plenty of times, but running into the rock isn't that bad. You should still be faster than taking the entire anti-grav section. Out of the ravine, past the dam, into the forest we must go, and there's a fork in the road. How will we go there? Do you choose right or left? Well, if you have the right item, you should choose the middle because it goes into a glider section. But be careful of those trees up ahead, due to the fact of if you run into them, you'll actually slow down and probably stop at one point instead of clipping it. But there's a nice touch if you actually run into the tree. A bit of snow will actually fall down because you ran into the tree. It's like little, but you can notice it, and it's really a nice touch. On the last section, we must go hitting the slopes. At the very end of the course, right at the ski jump, we see the lodge, and the last turn has a bank of snow. Use an item to traverse that bank of snow straight to the goal. And see, there was a shortcut at the top and the bottom of the mountain, like I said. Now, I know that wasn't fast enough for you guys. Let's start back at the top and go down even faster this time. With 200cc, this course really doesn't change a lot. The second and third shortcut becomes a bit harder to perform, but other than that, there isn't much. The fourth shortcut, which is the one with the fork in the road, you can actually go through by just hopping at the edge of the course onto the off-road and get a big leap in there and then keep hopping to maintain your speed. But I did ask a question earlier, and I'm going to ask it again. Which do you prefer, skis or snowboards? Now that I think about it, that would be a pretty good Splatfest, wouldn't it? Or a better question, karts or bikes for this stage? Me, if I had to choose this, if I chose this track, I would pick bikes because, one, if you haven't noticed, I really love bikes. Other than that, there's a lot of twists and turns, so that helps my situation kind of a lot, hopefully. Now, that's if you want to go like competitive full everything for this course. Now, if you're going for style points, you gotta go with the ATV. Come on, going down a mountain with ATV, that looks cool. While I didn't do that in this gameplay, unless I'm showing it right now because I posted this later than what I'm supposed to be, ATVs just fits this map perfectly. Well, that was a nice trip, but I have another Yoshkin trivia to tell you guys before I end this video. Remember the tournament I was telling you guys about? Well, this was the final stage we had to play on at this moment. Everyone was after me because I had 3 first place wins under my belt and attempted to sabotage me for that. Long story short, no one was able to touch me in this course. I had a clean sweep in the finals. Well, I'm going to stop bragging about that, what happened to me in this cup, other than I made a nice $90 for $10, so I made a total of $80. But this has been your Ken, the Yoshkin. and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.